We're going to get a little recap going. I want to start with the Grizzlies and the Pacers game. The final score was 110 to 116. The Pacers pulled out the win. Jaren Jackson had a extremely high usage percentage in the first half and second half. He just took a lot of shots. He got to the free throw line 12 times tonight, I think it was. And he was super aggressive, but they don't move. The Grizzlies don't move. So when Jaren's taking it into the paint for other teams, like if it's Joel, like they're smart enough to have somebody moving off the ball also at the same time. The Grizzlies don't really do that. Jaren's kind of just going in there, beating him up, doing his thing, and everyone else is standing 4 out on the perimeter. That doesn't work for the Grizzlies because they don't have the personnel to do that. But I really like what the Grizzlies got going on. I came on here a couple weeks ago and I was talking trash about the Grizzlies. I was like, I don't know how they're going to win a game. I don't know how they're going to do this. They're going to do that. I don't know how they're going to score. And the scoring still is a problem. But the thing is the Grizzlies were never going to win much this year. I have a Grizzlies fan that's one of my closer friends. And I was talking to him and I was like, this team is built for mediocrity. Like, y'all won't be more than a 3-4 seed. Y'all kind of will just be in the middle of the pack, playing team that maybe has a chance to win a playoff series, but nothing more than one playoff series. So this season allows them to take a roster that's built for mediocrity and turn it into a championship roster. And how they do that is by stacking up on guys like Vince Williams Jr. To build a championship team, you need your star pieces and what you're built around and the players you use to build around the player that you built around. But you also need the extra people. You need the guys who are cheap because you already have a lot of money tied up in your top 3. So you need a top 4. Steven Adams still taking up a bag. So you have guys like Vince Williams come in. You have Gigi Jackson coming in. You have Zaire Williams getting extended minutes. You have Jacob Gilyard getting in here. And there isn't a better thing that could happen for this team. If Vince Williams Jr. can keep playing like this for the rest of the season and keep building off this for his career, which I think he can, he is going to be so important for the Grizzlies. And if he doesn't stay, and if he's not here long term, he's a valuable trade asset. You want Vince Williams on your team. He's going to play tough defense, and he's going to get you buckets. Not like crazy buckets. He's still a 2-3. He's going to catch and shoot, and he's going to get to the basket because he's a strong man. But that's what I think about the Grizzlies. I like what they got going on. I know that doesn't really have anything to do with the game, but I just want to talk about the Grizzlies. I like what they're doing. Grizzlies threw a lot of doubles, and they seem to do that. They throw a lot of doubles whenever the opposing team star player has the ball, or if they're starting to get going, or if there's another player that's starting to get going, they're very comfortable doubling that player when they are uncomfortable, and they rotate correctly so it works for them. Also, the transition offense and defense, the Pacers were in the 17th percentile of transition offense in the first half of this game. The lower you are, the worse. The Grizzlies were in the 90th percentile. That's how the Grizzlies kept themselves in this game, and they just couldn't finish. Something really interesting I thought happened was after halftime, the Pacers assistant coach came up and was like, a lot of our guys are not familiar with these players. Like they don't know these guys. So, we tried to give them the best we could of what they are, what they're going to be trying to do. And I was like, that's a weak-ass scouting report. If that's y'all's scouting report, if your players, the Grizzlies players have been playing here long enough. It's not like Ja just got hurt last week. These guys, this has been the roster. Like, these are the guys who have been playing. That's weak as fuck on the Pacers side. I'm not going to lie. And it pissed me off because, these are real athletes. Like, these are real NBA players. And some of these guys are here to stay. That just pissed me off a little bit. It is what it is, though, about that. Also, for what actually happened today, Vince Williams, 12 rebounds, 6 rebounds, 12 points, 6 rebounds in the first half. Jaren Jackson shot 5 for 12. David Roddy put up good minutes, and Aldama put up good minutes. Pascal, 10 points, 3 rebounds. Andrew Nemhard was important for them in the first half. But the second half, it was just like, it was boring. Like, it was just boring. Jalen Smith was getting buckets. Like, I'm looking at it. Jalen Smith had 16 in the second half. Pascal, 9. It was just like it was all right. So we're gonna wrap that up there. I talked about the Pacers enough. So on to the Suns in the Orlando game. I want to start by giving a shout out to Jonathan Isaac. He played 22 minutes today. That's the most amount of minutes he's played since 2019. If you weren't aware, he's been dealing with injuries for the past couple seasons, and he's finally been able to get on and stay on the court this season. So it's really nice to see him back on the court, and he played incredible minutes today. When Paolo was not on the floor, Jonathan Isaac was guarding KD full-time, nobody else, always stuck to KD, and he played Jonathan Isaac defense. Like, Jonathan Isaac defense is game-changing defense. And I understand that KD is still going to get his shit off at times, but Jonathan Isaac is about the best defender you could put on him. We're talking about similar size, similar builds. Jonathan Isaac's stronger than him. Sorry, I'm trying to pull up the stats right now so I could, because KD didn't do a whole lot. I'm trying to give Jonathan Isaac his flowers. So there's his flowers. Devin Booker carried the first 3 quarters. But the Orlando Magic in the final 8 minutes, well, like 8 minutes from like 10 to 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter, the Orlando Magic went on a 21-2 run. Phoenix did not score a field goal for 8 straight minutes. They got some free throws to go. That was it. That's how they lost this game. Obviously, if you go on a 21-2 run to finish the game, you can't win that game because that's ridiculous. Like, that's ridiculous. KD versus Banchero was like the thing for me throughout this game because they were going back and forth throughout the first half. But it was just a Devin Booker show. Devin Booker scored 44 points tonight, 17 for 26. Bradley Beal, 4 for 13, 9 points. Kevin Durant, 7 for 12, 15 points, 7 turnovers. KD tried, Beal tried, Booker tried, but the Magic played great defense in the closing minutes, and it was a team effort. Franz Wagner, 11 points, Paolo, 26, Jalen Suggs, 10, Markelle, amazing game today. Markelle, I was about done with the whole Markelle Fultz thing because I went to a Magic game, and he got in. It was the first game he's played in a while. He shot 4 free throws, and he missed them all. And he shot a jumper, and I seen it in person with my own eyes, and I was like, holy shit, how is he ever supposed to make a shot? And I don't know if he ever will make a shot. But you know what he will make? He will make a layup. Markelle Fultz can do that. He can make a layup, and he can make the right pass. He's playing solid defense, too. Mo Wagner was the X factor for the Orlando Magic today in the second half. And he was 16 points, 12 rebounds, 5 offensive rebounds. Don't need to say any more than that. We'll wrap that game up there, and we'll go to OKC and Detroit. This is the Detroit Pistons that we expected. This is the Pistons that everybody wanted. You know, we talk about the Pistons now, and it's all bad things because the Pistons are terrible. But coming into the season, some of us were actually pretty optimistic about the Pistons. You look at the roster, and you're like, oh, it's actually not that bad. I could see them winning a couple games. Every player that played tonight scored. In the first half, all of them scored too, except Mike Muscala. Shout out to Moose. Big shout out to Moose. If you know, you know. But, yeah, Jay Nivey continues to get in there and get buckets for the Pistons. Monty Williams finally opened his eyes and admitted that he was wrong about Jay Nivey and that they need that young man on the court to have a chance. He put up 19 for them. Jalen Duren. I think I'm probably going to be making a role player all-star video soon during the all-star break. And Jalen Duren, a little spoiler, is going to be running one of those teams. He had 22 and 21 today. You're like, what? 22 points, 21 rebounds. 9 offensive rebounds. This kid is impressive. I love Jalen Duren. I love what I see out of Jalen Duren every night. Bojan had it going in the first half, but OKC defense did not give a fuck. And it made me so mad because OKC came out and they were just being so chill and just going through the motions, and they had a 10-point lead. And then they kept just going through the motions and not really locking in on defense, and Detroit did something about that. And they were getting buckets. And that's what I mean, like, this is the Detroit team that we expected. Like, Jaden Ivey's coming in here getting buckets, and Bojan's getting buckets, and Beef Stew's having a big first half. And Monte Morris got some, I mean, he made some buckets. And Marcus Sasser came in and did his thing. Like, that's what we expected from the Pistons, them to come in and be able to do it by committee. But they don't do that, and they did that tonight. What else? I hated the rotations in the fourth quarter for the Thunder. I understand that they were down by like 14 points, but at the end of the day, it is the Detroit Pistons. So Shea not being on the court in the fourth quarter, like, I don't remember if he was for the first like 2-3 minutes, but when we got to the important part of the fourth quarter where the comeback happens, Shea was not in the game. They were busy running a small ball lineup that didn't work. It didn't do a thing. And they were in there long enough for them to realize that it wasn't doing them anything. And they didn't do anything about it. Coach Mark Degnoff just took the starters out. After they got to like 3 minutes left, they were like, all right, whatever. We can't come back and win this game. If you just put the starters in maybe earlier in the fourth quarter and say, it's the Detroit Pistons, go win this game, maybe they have a shot. Because Shea his body language typically isn't great, but it was extra bad today. I love Shea, but he's so relaxed and he has so much poise in what he's doing. So everything looks so calm when it comes to Shea. But today it was just like, he was walking up the court, just how's he dribble? Like, he didn't care. Nobody on OKC really cared today except J-Dub. Shout out to J-Dub. Continues to have an incredible month. He's playing so good. And any more shout-outs I need to give? Lou Dort. Shout out to Lou Dort. He's been playing really good recently. He's been making shots, and he's always going to play that Lou Dort defense. Now we're going to move to the Bulls and the Blazers. I have my specific things that I want to talk about for this game, but I also kind of just want to talk about a couple players specifically, and I want to open up with Jeremy Grant. Jeremy Grant is averaging 21.5 points a game this season on good efficiency, and he continues to be one of the most underrated players in the entire association because his contract is insane. I don't know what Portland was thinking when they gave him a $150 million contract over 4 years, but that was stupid. I'm here to tell you that. And I think everybody else knows that. And if you didn't even know that happened, if you don't keep up with the sport that much and you're just tuning in, Jeremy Grant is a great side piece on your roster. We're talking about a 3-4 on a championship team. Your 3-4 option. The Portland Trailblazers, who have nothing to play for right now, they still had Dame at the time, but that's besides the point. They have nothing to play for, and they're going into a full rebuild. And they said, hey, let's just lock up Jeremy Grant. Let's give Jeremy Grant $150 million. For what? You're not even trying to win. There's games where you're actively trying to lose. But Jeremy Grant is going to get in there. He's going to get buckets, and he's going to make it harder for you to lose that game. So, can we please get Jeremy Grant out of here? Which we really can't because nobody wants his contract. The only team I can see Jeremy Grant end up ending up on is the Brooklyn Nets. And that's because you could pull off like a Ben Simmons trade. Give him Ben Simmons. We'll take him back. We'll give you a little draft capital, maybe another young piece, maybe a Derek Whitehead. There's not much. The market isn't very big for Jeremy Grant, but there's a lot of teams that need him. If that contract wasn't ridiculous, there'd be plenty of teams calling, and he probably would have been traded already. Also, I am tired of seeing Malcolm Brogdon on this roster. Why is he running the whole offense? Why? Because he's the best playmaker on that team. Why don't we trade him? Right now, his value is somewhere between 2 and 3 first-round picks. Next year, it's not going to be the same. Why don't we trade him right now and give him to a contender that'll pay for him? And he'll actually be able to go there and do something instead of just rotting in Portland right now. That's the same. I feel the same way about Jeremy Grant. Now, okay, I'm just going on rabbit trails. Back to where I was at. The game. Ayo Dosunmu had a great start. Jeremy Grant had a great game. Scoot Henderson, hustle, A+ in the first half and the second half. The Blazers were very aggressive to DeMar DeRozan in the first half, sending doubles, being aggressive, blitzing him off screens. I loved it. Kobe White is the most improved player. If you want to tell me that he's not, and you want to give it to a player that is supposed to be better this year, get the fuck out of here. I'm tired of us trying to give MIP to players that are supposed to be better. Kobe White came out of nowhere and became a real NBA player. I mean, he's been like a guy that could be in your rotation, but now he's a real NBA player. Like, if he's on the roster, he's getting minutes. He's going to be starting, or he's going to be your sixth man. And it's going to be like that for a long time. I don't think this is just a run. I feel like some Bulls fans have seen this coming, and their biases or not. Kobe White is a great NBA player. It's on full display. The Bulls basketball that they've been playing over the past 2-3 weeks has been getting better and better and better every game. They're making passes that they wouldn't the week before. The ball movement is incredible in Chicago right now, and that's the most I'll probably say about Chicago. Anthony Simons, terrible game. At some point he was 1 for 7. He made some shots at the end of the game. It didn't really matter. But that's just what you get with Anthony Simons. Some nights he's going to take some terrible shots, but he's going to make them. Other nights he's going to take some terrible shots and some good shots, and he's not going to make them. And tonight, one of those nights, he had one of those tonight where he wasn't making them. Chicago had 1 turnover in the first half. And the third quarter they had 3, I think. Portland had 7 turnovers in the first half. That is why that's why the Blazers couldn't really pull ahead. I felt there were points that the Blazers could have pulled ahead, but they didn't, obviously, because Portland turned it over 7 times. They screwed themselves, so can't be too mad about that. Dalen Terry, great second half. I continue to love what Jabari Walker has to bring to the table for the Trailblazers. I love to see this young man's potential and his progression. It's been fun to watch, honestly. What else? Alex Caruso, DeAndre Ayton, Scoot Henderson, Kobe White, Julian Phillips. These are all players that played well today. That's like, this wasn't a crazy good game, but I did have my things I wanted to talk about. The Bulls went on a drought, and it allowed Portland to close the gap later in this game. But DeMar DeRozan responded. He came out, hit a 3, and then he hit a step through. Filet, yeah. He got that to go. That was nice. And that was kind of just it for them. Alex Caruso, I think, or somebody got a... No, they made multiple big defensive plays, and that's what led to the end of the game. That's it. And then Ayo Dosunmu hit a 3 with like 20 seconds left, put him up 6 or whatever, 9, and that was it. We're going to just end that there. No. Shout out to Matisse Thybulle. Great defense as always. And Vooch. Maybe Vooch should get some lessons. I know he's old, but goddamn, he plays no defense. So we'll move on to the last game of the night. And that's going to be the Hawks game. The Hawks and the Raptors game. Trae Young started the game good for them boys. He was passing the ball really great. And the Raptors' interior defense when Jakob Poeltl is out is really terrible. The Raptors were also without... So they didn't have Jakob Poeltl. They didn't have Emmanuel Quickley or RJ Barrett today. There might be someone else I'm missing. And then the Atlanta Hawks didn't have DeJounte Murray today. They didn't have someone else. I can't remember who it is. DeAndre Hunter. They didn't have those two players today. So we were missing a couple guys for this matchup, but it was great. It was all the way down to the wire. Sadiq Bey hit a putback dunk with 1.3 seconds to go, and that won them the game. After Trae Young just threw the ball away, and Scotty Barnes got a dunk to give him the lead. Like I said, super entertaining game. The Raptors were willing to set the Raptors do this, and I like this. I just mentioned this a couple minutes ago. The Raptors also double very willingly when they're uncomfortable in a situation. Like, the best example I could give would be like Joel Embiid. Like, if Joel Embiid is on the block and he's posted up and you see him about to go to work, that is a situation you are very uncomfortable in. So they send two. And the thing about the Raptors is they rotate correctly, and they have guys that are willing to rotate hard. So it works for them. And it's not like there are teams where they do try and double, but it's a rotating problem. And then you just have people wide open for three. That's not a thing for the Raptors. That's not a problem. The Raptors did it by committee. No, they didn't even win this game. But I was really happy with the Raptors today. I'm not the biggest Hawks fan. I'd prefer to watch the Raptors, so I was watching more of the Raptors than I was the Hawks throughout this game. But all of the Raptors, I think everybody scored in the first half. And then at the end of this game, everybody had at least 10 points except Chris Boucher and Thaddeus Young. So it was all done, like I said, by committee today. Grady Dick came in and gave great minutes. Hey, buddy. What else happened? Sadiq Bey, 26 points, good game. Jalen Johnson had some big buckets throughout the game, 17 points. Clint Capella, 19 and 14. You could expect that because the Raptors have no interior defense when Jakopo's out, because it's just Scotty Barnes running the five. Scotty Barnes is running the five. He's getting guarded by Clint Capella. And when Scotty's not in the game, it's Thaddeus Young. Boy, oh boy, was that ugly. That was ugly for the Raptors. Trae Young, 30 points, 12 assists. There was only three Hawks that made a three-pointer tonight. They made 6 total, and 4 of them were made by Bogdan Bogdanovic. They shot 6 for 27, and they still figured out a way to win this game. So, well, it was the 20 offensive rebounds is what it really was. So, shout out to the Hawks. They went ahead and they closed this game out late, like I said, and they just made it work. The Raptors could have took this game. The Hawks could have took this game, but the Hawks went ahead and took it. And I think we're going to go ahead and wrap up there. I appreciate y'all's time. If you stuck to the end, go ahead, hit the like, hit the sub. Small channel. It helps. It really does. Leave a comment. That also helps. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.